Have you ever been in a situation where doing the right thing felt scary? Maybe even dangerous? Today we're going to dive into an incredible true story from the Bible about a young woman named Esther who faced a life-or-death decision. It's a story of bravery, faith, and how one person's courage can change everything. Our story takes place in ancient Persia, where a powerful king named Xerxes ruled a vast empire. One day, after a lavish feast, the king had a fight with his queen, Vashti, and banished her. Now, the kingdom needed a new queen. The king's advisors suggested a beauty contest. Yes, really, to find the next queen. Beautiful young women from across the empire were brought to the palace, including a Jewish girl named Esther. Esther was raised by her cousin Mordecai, a wise and kind man who worked at the palace gates. He told Esther to keep her Jewish identity a secret for her safety. And guess what? The king was captivated by Esther's grace and beauty. She became the new queen. But this was only the beginning. Meanwhile, Mordecai uncovered a plot to assassinate the king and saved his life. But trouble was brewing. A high-ranking official named Haman was furious when Mordecai refused to bow down to him. Mordecai believed only God deserved that kind of honor. Haman wasn't just angry, he was vengeful. He convinced the king to issue a decree. On a certain day, all the Jews in the empire would be killed. The king, not realizing Esther was Jewish, agreed. When Mordecai heard this, he tore his clothes in grief and sent word to Esther. "You must go to the king and beg for our people's lives." But there was a problem. No one could approach the king uninvited, not even the queen. The punishment? Death. Unless the king held out his golden scepter, sparing their life. Esther was terrified, but Mordecai's words struck her heart. Maybe you were made queen for such a time as this. Esther made a decision. She asked Mordecai and all the Jews to fast and pray for 3 days. Then she would go to the king, even if it cost her life. Dressed in her royal robes, Esther stood in the inner court. The king looked up and held out his golden scepter. "What is it, Queen Esther?" he asked. "I'll give you anything, up to half my kingdom." Instead of revealing Haman's plot right away, Esther invited the king and Haman to a banquet. There, she invited them to another feast the next day. Haman left, proud and happy, until he saw Mordecai still refusing to bow. Furious, he built a giant gallows to hang Mordecai. But that night the king couldn't sleep. He had the royal records read to him and was reminded Mordecai had saved his life and was never rewarded. The next day, at Esther's second banquet, she finally revealed the truth. Haman has plotted to destroy my people, the Jews, including me. The king was enraged. He ordered Haman to be hanged on the very gallows he built for Mordecai. Then, he issued a new decree allowing the Jews to defend themselves. On the day Haman's evil plan was supposed to happen, the Jews fought back and won. Mordecai was honored, and Esther's bravery saved an entire nation. To this day, Jewish people celebrate the festival of Purim, remembering how God used Esther's courage to rescue them. So what can we learn from Esther's story? Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting despite fear. Esther was afraid, but she did what was right anyway. You might be where you are for such a time as this. God can use ordinary people, in extraordinary ways. Stand up for what's right, even when it's hard. Esther risked her life to save others. What's something you're being called to stand for? Esther's story reminds us that even in dark times, one person's bravery can change everything. So whatever you're facing today, remember, you were made for a purpose,